Hey guys, Kyle the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for My Hero Academia, episode 24. So, for those who don't know, this episode and the last one, next week, pretty much marks the start of the series transition into basically a new arc, or the Internship Arc as it's called. And at first, I was actually a little off-put by this because it just seemed like a weird choice to start adapting the next arc's material with only 2 episodes left. But it didn't take too long after for my memory of reading the manga to click in and doing a little Google research as well for all my memory to kick in and for me to remember that, oh yeah, this next arc is a pretty long ass arc. This next arc we're getting into is a pretty long ass arc, and I'm not even exaggerating that. Like the internship arc as a whole, this arc that we're currently in, it's the longest one in My Hero Academia's run. So it's the longest one in My Hero Academia's run. So in order to continue at the pace they've been going at, I guess in a way it really only makes sense for pretty much Bones to get a jump start on it now. On it pretty much now rather than later when season 4 starts. Now, having said that, this next arc we're in is also in a lot of ways the most controversial, especially in its second half. So it makes me wonder as to what's going to happen in this, as to how production of this arc is going to go. Like, it makes me wonder if Horikoshi is going to do something similar as to what Isayama has done with the current arc of Attack on Titan, where he basically tries to in order to change certain aspects of this particular story arc in order to lighten the blow of the mistakes he openly admits he made. Like this is an arc that Horikoshi openly admits that in the second half he flubbed up big time. So it makes me wonder if I think it's one of those things where it's a little too late for pretty much him to fix anything major, but it makes me wonder if he's gonna. Sorry about that. It makes me wonder if he's gonna try and at least give them at least some kind of notes or something, some kind of studio notes or something in order to kind of lighten the blow of certain things in this arc. But I don't know. I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see on that, I guess. Now, having said that, this was a very loaded episode this week, and first, let's talk about it twice, because in case you guys missed it, the man is afflicted with a serious case of DID or dissociative identity disorder, like that was brought on by his powers, and there's so much to say about that. First and foremost being that it puts into perspective why he's a villain and a member of the League of Villains at that. It basically puts again into perspective that in a lot of ways, these villains have no choice but to be villains. His quirk fractured his mind pretty much so much that he had that the only way he can survive out in public from so long, that he can only survive so long out in public without his mask, and it's when he finally puts on his mask or his costume in general, probably mostly his mask, that he's able to kind of find like at least some kind of semblance of stability in himself. So, and not only is it really telling about this society when and honestly, this is one of those things that's really telling about this society, because I have a feeling that in how it went is that in his time of need, the only one, like in his, like he was probably struggling pretty much through this after he split himself into so many copies, but I have a feeling that after this happened to him, I don't think that there was many people who really even offered to help him, honestly. And like I said, it's really telling about this society when in his time of need, the only one who would accept him is a group of villains, but is a group of villains that are dedicated to basically spreading chaos throughout this whole hero society. And I do like how this actually put focus on something as simple as a costume that actually helps she helps Twice cope with his identity disorder, and yeah, overall like I think it's actually kind of ballsy of the series to portray something like as serious as an identity disorder in a shonen. Like it, the definitely the bits with definitely the bits with definitely the bits with Twice of all people. I think that's kind of even that it's not like super uber dark, but it is definitely probably one of the emotionally darker moments in this series for sure. Now and okay, I don't necessarily bring up the dub in a in an episode where I've watched the sub to, but I really need to address the dub here because I almost feel it's an obligation. Because for those who don't know, in the dub version of My Hero Academia, pretty much Twice is being voiced by it's Newton Pittman. Basically, he's the guy who basically did Gray in Fairy Tail, and I think he's done a couple other roles I'm familiar with, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, Twice is being voiced by Newton Pittman, and to be honest with you, Newton once this episode reaches, yeah, Newton Pittman has got some serious fucking he's got some big ass shoes to fill when it comes to this episode, because yeah, again, this was like one of the darker episodes, and it's all focused on a character we didn't really think was gonna get dark to begin with. Twice, like, Twice was just awesome in this episode, and yeah, he just earned all my sympathy. He did. Now, and also when it came to Twice, I did like his perspective on the state of things, and how in a lot of ways, pretty much what we see from Twice's perspective in this episode, it set the tone for how the story is going to be going forward. Like we basically see a lot of villain activity, and that alone kind of already sets the tone, because we still are going to get focused on our main cast and on UA itself, but as far as where the story goes from here, I'd be lying if there pretty much is going to be just as much a focus and screen time for a lot of villains going forward as it is for basically Class 1A and even Izuku and whatnot. So yeah, we're gonna get a lot of more of the focus on villains and building them up. And I'd be lying if I said this hasn't been a problem for some, as someone who's read the manga. Like, it has kind of been a little up and down in terms of where the story has gone, with more focus on the villains. But I think it's at the same time it's still an important, especially if the series still intends to build up both Izuku and Shake Araki as the two main people of this series, because at the core both Izuku and Shake Araki are like the main focus. Like they're the main hero and the main villain. So I think this stuff is kind of necessary to kind of build those two up for whatever final confrontation they end up getting into. Actually, funny thing is that even this episode also even laid the groundwork for even a bit of endeavor in the future of the series as well, with how right now the public currently views him as kind of hit and miss hero, but that is also going to be something that gets addressed later. And with that said, we also get introduced to the new villain of this arc, Overhaul, and yeah, appearance-wise in how his design looks compared to the manga, it was very on point. It may be a little less detailed in places, but for the most part, I think Bones definitely did him right. And yeah, trust me, this guy is, like, I'm not gonna say he's as strong as All For One, but he's definitely up there in threat level as one of the biggest threats of this that are so far in the series. And he is basically one of those indications that, yeah, with All Might gone, all these villains are coming out of the woodwork, including some that were basically buried from the past. And trust me, Overhaul as a character, he is basically basically one of those relics from basically the past of villainy. So yeah. And through all this epic shit that was being thrown at us, and through all this epic shit that was being thrown at us and all the epic stuff that happened in this episode, I love how the internships being brought up actually address the fact that because of their fight, Bakugo and Izuku are falling behind. So it still brought it back to the fact that this whole series is still taking place in and around a school, and they need, and both of them, both Izuku and Bakugo as students, that they need to catch up. And you could see how much, and with someone like Izuku, you could just see how much he was actually tearing himself up inside in order to actually be like, in order to be so left out and left so far behind. Like, he's missed only a couple days, but it's like he's missed only a couple days, but those couple days have been enough to drive him mad, and I love it. I love how comedic that was, and. Now, the ending introduces to the big three, which are third-year students that will explain the whole process of the internships along with Aizawa. And, yeah, let's address the obvious. The guy who Izuku met looks like Vault Boy, so I think it's more than obvious that the mangaka pretty much plays Fallout. But as far as who this guy is as a character, let's just say that this one character is going, like... I'm talking about the guy with the pompadour or the hair flip or whatnot. The guy with the blonde hair and hair flip. This one guy is really going to take Izuku on a journey of self-discovery. Like, seriously, anything you thought you knew about All Might and Izuku's relationship and All Might choosing Izuku up to this point, forget it. Like, everything you basically thought you knew at the end of the series is going to be totally flipped upside down in the best way possible. Because, like I said, it really leads to some great development for Izuku at this point. And side note, we also get reintroduced to Shinzo in this arc, and let's just say, as far as where the manga is now, that whole passing line about him having bulked up makes so much more sense now, because it's still gonna take a little longer for the anime to get to the point I'm talking about, but eventually the anime will have gotten to an arc that does have Shinzo as the focus again. Downside to the anime only is it probably won't happen until season 5 though, or something like that. But yeah. But yeah, guys, that's my review for this amazing episode. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, AnyList, or AnyList or Crunchyroll. Death Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.